Good day, everyone. I will be presenting the first part of our topic entitled Gender Inequality in Marriage and Criminal Laws. So, these are the objectives of this topic. To understand fully the concept of gender inequality in marriage and criminal laws. Second, to determine the status of gender inequality in selected provision of these laws. And the last one was assess provision on the proposed same-sex marriage and legislations. So, marriage is considered an important institution in society. According to Article 15, Section 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitutions, marriage is an inviolable social institution and the foundations of the family, which shall be protected by the state. Under the Article 1 of Family Code of Philippines, marriage is defined as a special contract of permanent union between man and woman who entered into accordance with law for establishment of conjugal and family life. So, however, despite the protection given to marriage, well, there are certain provisions and marital criminal laws that reflect gender inequality. So, these laws shows unequal treatment based on gender, which raises concern about fairness and equality under the law. So these issues will be further discussed in the succeeding part of the report. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so I am Giselle V. Palusada. So I am the next speaker. So I will be discussing about the primacy of the decision of the husband or the father. So first is the Article 14 of the Family Code of the Philippines. So in case either or both of the contracting parties not having been emancipated by the previous marriage are between the ages of 18 and 21, so they shall, in addition to the requirements of the preceding article, so exhibit to the local civil registrar the consent to their marriage of their father and mother. So, surviving parent or guardian or a person having legal charge of them in the order mentioned, such as consent shall be manifested in writing by their interest party, so who personally appears before the proper local civil registrar, or in the form of an affidavit made in the presence of two witnesses and attested before any official authorized by law to administer oath. The personal manifestation shall be recorded in both applications for marriage license and the affidavit, if one is executed instead, shall be attached to said applications. So next is the Article 96 of the Family Code of the Philippines. So the administration and enjoyment of the community property shall belong to both spouses jointly. So in case of disagreement, the husband decision shall prevail. So subject to resource to the court by the wife for perform remedy, which must be availed of within 5 years from the date of the contract implementing such decision. So next is the Article 124 of the Family Code of the Philippines. The administration and enjoyment of the conjugal partnership shall belong to both spouses jointly. In case of disagreement, the husband's decision shall prevail, subject to request by So next is the Article 211 of the Family Code of the Philippines. So the father and the mother shall jointly exercise parental authority over the persons of their common children. So in case of disagreement, the father's decision shall prevail unless there is a judicial order to the contrary. So next is the Article 225 of the Family Code in the Philippines. So the father and the mother shall jointly exercise legal guardianship over the property of the emancipated common child without the necessity of a court appointment. So in case of disagreement, the father's decision shall prevail. So unless there is a judicial order to the contrary. So next is the higher burden on women or wives than men or the husband. So adultery involves a wife who engage into sexual intercourse with a man, not her husband. So concubinage involves a husband who has one sexual intercourse with a woman, not his wife under scandalous circumstances. So two kept another woman in the conjugal home, or third, the cohabitating with another woman in another dwelling. So the penalty of imprisonment is impossible on paramour in adultery. So the penalty of deshero or banishment tolls on all concubine. So next is the forgiveness clause in the crime of rape. So Article 8353 or the anti-rape law. In the law, it stated the subsequent valid marriage between the offender and the offended party shall extinguish the criminal action or the penalty imposed. So it also recognized that if the offender is the legal husband, the subsequent forgiveness by the wife who is the offended party shall extinguish the criminal action of the penalty. So next is the exclusive definition of prostitution. So Article 202 of the Revised Penal Code, amended by Republic Act number 10158, retained the decades-old definition of prostitution. Prostitutes as women who, for money or profit, so habitually engage in sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct. So following this definition, a man who peddles sexual acts for profit is in effect invisible in the eyes of law, thus making the actor thereof immune to imprisonment. So summary, the family code contains marital laws that include provisions which depicts gender inequality. Legislations on same-sex marriage are good initiatives to address this issue. On gender inequality in martial laws, criminal laws are not that different as clearly, so some provisions therein favor the male sex over the female sex. So worse, this pertains to crimes involving penalties for imprisonment. So that's all for our topic. So thank you for listening. Bye bye.